Hello!
And welcome to myteacheriscrazy.org. It's time to get right into the Neolithic Era. Tonight, your objective is to describe the reasons that people stopped migrating and started settling during the Neolithic Era. Last night, I taught you what your skill was and what your concept was when talking about an objective. Tonight, I want you to write down the skill at the bottom of your study guide sheet and circle it. What is the skill in this objective? You should have written down describe. Tonight, I want you to describe. Please write beside the word describe what you think describe means. What am I expecting? In your concept tonight, what I'm expecting you to describe are the reasons that people stop migrating around the world. Why did the hunter-gatherers stop migrating? And why did they start settling during the Neolithic era? First, let's look at the map. If you'll notice these areas that have colors on them, the yellow, the red, and the green, this is where people first started settling. They're migrating around the world, and then they just stop right here. They just stop right here. 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 Why? The answer is rivers. There are rivers at all of these locations, and people would settle there so that they could learn, because they learned to farm. They learned agriculture. Your vocabulary. You have some new vocabulary words. We've already discussed the word Neolithic. That is the new Stone Age. You'll be working with all of these words in class during your vocabulary development session. Another new word is domestication. That's the taming of plants and animals to make them useful to us. Agriculture, which is farming. History, which is the study of the past, which means people have now started writing because we've moved on from prehistory. Culture, the knowledge, beliefs, customs, and values of a group of people, and natural resources, which we've really already discussed when we talked about the tools that people used when they were making things for themselves. Another thing that you will need to know is irrigation, which is a way of bringing water to crops. Now, number 9. The first thing says, what is domestication? Domestication is the taming of animals and plants for human use. So how did they use them? Animals could carry goods, maybe if it was a donkey or something like that, and pull carts and the plow. You see this horse over here has the plow, which helped them with farming or agriculture, using your vocab, agriculture. Number 10. Agriculture developed because nomads, which we will discuss in our small group with me. Nomads are people who move from place to place. So agriculture developed when those nomads were running out of food. And when moving from place to place, they noticed that areas near the water, like rivers, had more plants for themselves. They could eat them. Therefore, they settled near the water sources and learned how to farm. They figured out that seeds and water combined created a plant that they could eat. And so they're really intelligent people to figure all this out on their own. Number 11, farming contributed to the growth of towns because people did not need to search for food anymore. They learned how to grow it themselves. So people started settling and staying in one place to control their crops. They also learned domestication, so they kept all of their animals in like fences or near them, so that they didn't need to search for that anymore. And they were able to increase their food production. So towns grew up all around them. Number 12. What are some farming tools and techniques used in the Neolithic era? That would be irrigation. They learned how to use dams and canals. So they dug these canals all the way from the river to their fields. And they would store the water in big water basins, and they would hold back the water by a dam and then lift the gates when they needed the water during a dry season. Here's a picture over here of what it might look like when they in their fields when they would lift the gates. Another thing they learned to use are water wheels. We'll see those up there, and that's how they were able to transport water from one place to another. They learned how to use plows. You'll see in the clip art up here that would dig up the land so they could just drop their seeds into their fields. And they learned to use animals because animals could pull those heavy plows that would be too difficult for a man to carry and pull it on his own. And the last one, a surplus of food meant healthy growing populations, which meant that there were more workers and even more food. So when they had lots and lots of food and lots of people becoming healthier, and these people were like, well, we have enough food, so what do we do? There was so much food, specialization and the division of labor occurred. These are two words you do need to know. You must know them. Specialization is the development of different kinds of jobs. So I specialize in teaching, while Mr. Glover specializes in administration. So we each have our own job to make our school work. And we divide, not well we do, but they did as well. They divided up the work, division of labor. They divided up the work so that they could do more things. They could create cloth and tools, and they started having blacksmiths. They started having religion. They started having more and more things because there were more people available to do these things. And when they started having more and more things, bartering occurred. Bartering is the trading of items. And when they started trading, villages arose. Your objective tonight was to describe the reasons that people stopped migrating and started settling. The big reasons were because of farming and domestication. The password tonight is gas. Don't tell anyone. Good night.